Welcome to the Barclay Radebaugh Show, sponsored by Cruise Chevrolet. Kevin O'Rourke alongside the head coach of the Bucks as CSU gets set to host Radford at the Buck Dome this Wednesday and then on the road at BMI on Saturday. CSU with a big home win Saturday over Liberty, 80-66, and had to be a pretty satisfying performance, especially on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, we improved defensively. We put a big effort on the defensive end the last 2 weeks, and this was the first time that we saw some effort or some result of our effort in practice. And I thought defensively we played as well as we played all year.
We know you guys can score the ball, and you did that on Saturday, but when you compete defensively like you did, what does that do for your confidence?
Oh, it brings confidence because you're not going to shoot the ball well every night, but you can defend well every night, and we haven't done that. And I take responsibility for that. I've allowed this team to be too offensive oriented and too reliant on our ability to score, and we were able to limit the production of a very skilled, big, and well-executing Liberty team.
Got a big effort offensively from Sheldon Strickland, career high 35 points, just a magnificent performance.
He's capable. He's certainly capable of putting up big numbers, and we've seen that throughout his career in different games that he's just gotten sizzling hot, and certainly Wednesday was one of those games, and he just hit his first couple and just kept going. And I told him there wasn't any difference between this performance and the Campbell performance except that he made shots. He's taken the burden on himself. He wants that scoring load with Sa out and Arlon limited. Sheldon has wanted that scoring load, and he performed the same way actually against Campbell on Saturday, and just wasn't able to connect on as many shots. So I've been real proud of his attitude and real proud of how he has led as a senior.
Continue your trip through the North Division this week. Radford, a good team, comes in on Wednesday at BMI Saturday, so another tough week, and try to start putting them together now.
It doesn't get any easier, certainly with those two coming in, and probably the most physical, athletic team in the North, and then certainly the most skilled team maybe in mid-major basketball in VMI on Saturday. So we got a good, tough week, but all our games in the Big South have been tough, and it's been equally tough for the other teams in the Big South. A lot of close games, a lot of really good teams this year.
Bucks at 4-4 in Big South play. Last Wednesday they were at Campbell, and we'll take a look at some highlights from that game. CSU looking to bounce back off a loss to Longwood, and you played in this game without Arlon Harper. Sa Nimley did come off the bench. Just talk about going up there to play a Campbell team that's really surprised so far this year.
They have. They've been the surprise of the league, and they've certainly have changed their style of play significantly, running the Princeton offense in a matchup zone, and they were difficult to guard. I thought we got off to a good start offensively and defensively in this game, getting up 6 or 7 points, and this just weren't able to sustain enough firepower offensively to hang in there with them. I thought defensively in the second half we showed some pretty good resiliency and some toughness, and you can see the Princeton, it's very difficult to guard, a lot of misdirection actions, a lot of actions that are read by them, and takes a strong defensive effort to be able to contain a team that runs Princeton like that.
See Will Saunders knocked down the three there, had a really good game Saturday against Liberty. Bucks, as you said, played good defense too in the first half, and then Campbell just gets red hot late in the stanza. What was the difference? Was it their shooting, your defense combination?
Well, I think they just kind of wore us down. When you lose a player like Sa and playing 7 minutes but really not playing at all, he just wasn't his normal self, and we've held him out since. And then, to play without Arlon, we had to get used to that. And we have to get used to playing without those guys because we're so different with them in the game. They control the ball, particularly Sa has the ball in his hands a lot, and it was just a different dynamic out there, and it takes a little bit of time to get used to. And certainly we had some more practice days before we competed against Liberty, and were able to get a little bit more used to not having them.
Seeing Campbell's run here late in the first half, fighting Campbell's hit 10 straight shots, got hot from three, leak with one from the top of the key there, and Kevin McGeehan's done a really good job with that team so far this year.
He really has. He's a good coach and has a rich heritage and a great background, and being at Richmond, has certainly brought that Richmond style over to Campbell, and on this particular night, they were very difficult to guard.
Malcolm Bernard with the baseline drive and dunk there, and he can do that at times for you.
You can. We want a little more consistency out of Malcolm. You saw some ability there to be able to go baseline and finish in traffic and then complete the three-point play. We need him to be a little bit more consistent, and he's really working on that to his credit.
Sheldon Strickland with the miss there. Good hustle by Malcolm here, saves it in, and eventually ends up in a Matt Kennedy three. He started slow, ended up with 20 points, and he really did a good job in the Longwood game and this game trying to put the offense on his back to some extent.
He's a senior, and without Sa and Arlon, he certainly felt that he needed to be more aggressive offensively, and particularly with the ball in his hand. Matt, a lot of times, is a recipient of great penetration by Sa and Arlon and Shell, and has had the ability to knock in a lot of shots. And without them, he needs to drive the ball a little bit more and be a little bit more of a creator, which has been something that has been new for him. Here in the second half, and we're trying to hang in there. We're trying to cut the lead, got it to 6. Good offensive execution, good drive there by Paul. And we're just working to chip away at this lead, and certainly we're able to make some headway there and got it to a 6-point game.
Matt Kennedy driving the baseline for 2 of his 20 there. Saw the drive by Gomer, 16 rebounds, 7 on the offensive side. He was outstanding on the glass.
Paul is really a terrific rebounder for his size. He's very tenacious on the glass and does a really, really nice job of chasing down rebounds. We call them running rebounders. And Paul plays a forward position, so a lot of time he's on the perimeter and he's able to run down rebounds, particularly offensively.
Saw Mitchell Dieter with the 3 there to cut it down to 6 after Campbell gone up as many as 13. Hits another here from the corner. Had to feel good for a guy like Mitchell. Doesn't get a lot of playing time to give you some valuable minutes.
Well, yeah, it's so nice to have Mitchell in there, and as a senior, he's given us so much in our program, and he's a constant warrior and a worker in practice, and it was nice to see him get out on the court and get to play some.
Bucks, couple of late threats here, big 3 here from Campbell's Darius Leonard, and they were just able to hit enough shots to hold you guys off in the end.
Yeah, that was kind of the nail in the coffin there, that last 3, and we'd cut it to 7. If we could get a stop there, we could get it to 5 or 4, and just weren't able to get them to miss enough shots late.
Coming off that game, back-to-back losses, Sa trying to give it a go, didn't really, as you said, get to play about 7 minutes, no Arlon. What was the attitude of the team like the next couple of days in practice leading up to the Liberty game?
Well, it's been tough. We've taken time to convince our guys that we can win regardless of who we have on the court. We're not, I always say, we're not a point guard team, we're not a forward team, we're not a center team, we're a team. And we have enough talent in our locker room to win regardless of who we put out there. And we just have to work. And we can't feel sorry for ourselves, and we can't feel discouraged, certainly disappointed. There's a big difference between disappointment and discouragement. Discouragement lasts for a period of time. Disappointment you can get over quickly. And while we were disappointed with the Campbell effort and the Campbell outcome, we certainly can't allow discouragement to come in there. And there's one way out of it. And we've just really focused on the defensive end and rebounding. Without some offensive firepower, we can still defend. And we can work on the defensive end. And the blessing in disguise is with these injuries is that we've had to improve other areas of our team. And we're going to be that much better when Sa and Arlon get back.
It's definitely an encouraging performance for the Bucks this past Saturday against Liberty. Got to 4-4 in Big South play in emphatic fashion, and we'll take a look at some highlights from that game after this. You're watching the Barclay Radebaugh Show, presented by Crew Chevrolet. Welcome back to the Barclay Radebaugh Show, sponsored by Crew Chevrolet. Kevin O'Rourke alongside Barclay Radebaugh as we take a look at some highlights from this past Saturday's game against Liberty, and coming off the loss to Campbell, hosting a good Liberty team that's kind of been up and down as well, and you guys really came out with one of your better overall performances of the year.
Might have been our best defensive effort against just a terrific team with great size, well-coached team. They execute particularly well offensively, and certainly we saw that in the finals of the tournament and in our bid to get to the NCAA tournament. Liberty's offensive execution was a big roadblock for us there, and we really wanted to come out with a sound defensive effort, and I think we did that.
An 80-66 win for Charleston Southern, led it from start to finish, and take a look at the opening tip-off here. Another good crowd at the Buck Dome for a game on ESPN3, and as we said, really performed well right from the opening tip. You get out to a 15-2 start, and again, Alhaji Fuller, you see a three from Will Saunders here, but Alhaji Fuller gives you some scoring punch again early.
He really does. He's come out strong the last 2 or 3 games. We've really thrown it in there more, and he has responded with some really nice post moves. He's particularly adept at going back to his left hand, and very skilled there, and very thankful. He's performing well in the final stages of his career. 2
straight jump hooks here in the early going. As you said, that's kind of his go-to move. Actually, I had one with the right hand Wednesday against Campbell, but Bucks get out to a 15-2 start on Liberty, and for your confidence, certainly had to be great to get out to a quick start like that.
Oh, just terrific. And you know, people will talk about the offensive start that we got off to, but it was an equally good defensive start to hold them to 2 points for, you know, the first 5 or 6 minutes of the game. We were encouraged.
Do you think the injuries have maybe made the guys buy in just a little bit even more defensively?
Well, I think so. I think just also it's caused us to realize we can't rely on our offense. And if we're going to get back in this race, if we're going to be able to compete for a regular season championship, then we're going to have to defend and rebound at a little bit better rate than we have been. And certainly these guys want to win. They're used to winning. They expect to win. And it's really something that they want to improve on. I think we've put a little bit better emphasis on it, also from a coaching standpoint, and our practices have been a lot rougher and a lot more defensive oriented, and that has allowed us to improve a little bit. But basically, it's been the mindset of our guys improving, realizing that if we don't improve in guarding the ball and rebounding and keeping our guy in front, then we have the potential to have a long season.
Sheldon Strickland with one of his 5 first-half three-pointers, a tough fadeaway 3 from the right side, and he really bounced back shooting the ball great after a tough night shooting the ball against Campbell.
Yeah, that wasn't a really highly rated shot. We rate each of our shots, but certainly after you've hit 2 or 3 in a row, we'll give Shell the benefit of the doubt on that little bit of a heat check there.
The heat check, and the heat check was good. Sheldon, 20 points in the first half, goes for 35 overall, another pretty tough one there, nothing but net, and just pretty special performance by your senior.
Yeah, he gets going like that. He's tough to defend because he's so athletic. He can go by and create in the middle, and when he's hitting those threes like that, we know to keep going to him. And it was great in our huddle. Our guys kept talking about, let's get the ball to Shell, let's get the ball to Shell. He's hit a couple in a row, and actually Arlon called a play midstream for Sheldon, and that was pretty cool to see that he had the basketball instinct and the basketball knowledge to keep the ball in the hand of a hot shooter.
You guys were up 20 there after the Strickland 3, going to the half up big, and Paul Gomer gets you going in the second half. 6 quick points for him and another good night on the glass. And you mentioned Liberty's size. They came in top 10 in the country in rebounding margin. You guys did a really good job on the glass.
Out-rebounded them by 1, and that was a big emphasis. And here Ali gives up a little bit of a post move, but overall Ali's defensive performance was just terrific. There's the active hands we've been wanting, and the finish. Paul out in a broken floor situation is very, very effective with his size and athleticism.
Will Saunders with the deflection, and we know Will can shoot the ball, but 8 rebounds and made some plays defensively as well, and if he can give you that, that'd be a big lift.
Oh yeah, no doubt. From our small forward, our power forward, and our center, we had almost 30 rebounds from those 3 guys, and that just gives us a big lift competing against 6'11", 6'8", 6'8" in there. It's very difficult to rebound. Our guys did a really good job.
Charleston Southern got up 61-34. Liberty is able to get their way back into the game a little bit. They cut it down to 16 eventually. You see Alhaji Fuller with the dunk off the drive by Saunders, and then Sheldon kind of puts it away with 7 straight points here.
He really did. They cut it to 13, and Shell goes on his own 7-0 run and kind of got it back to the margin that I was comfortable with, and certainly he performed well in the first half, and then in crunch time in the second half performed just as well. Here we have a mismatch, and we spread the floor and give him lots of space, and that pull-up jumper is a trademark Sheldon Strickland move.
Mid-range jumper for Strickland, second of 2 straight. Liberty able to make the final score 80-66, but it was pretty much all Bucks all night long, and really had to be a good Sunday off for you guys off that performance.
Really was. We got to come back and go right back to work and pick up with the same type of intensity and focus that we had for this game. We can't digress. We got to move forward in preparation for playing our best basketball here in February.
Last field goal of the game here for Sheldon Strickland puts the Bucks up by 18 points. Add a couple of free throws, again, a career high 35. He had 27 against CFC as a freshman. And we saw Arlon Harper knock down a three in those highlights as well. Talk about the guts he showed, 11 points off the bench for you guys.
Yeah, it was nice to see him back out there. He's still at about 60, 65%. His ankle really swelled significantly after the game. He'll be a game time decision on Wednesday. We're putting him on an NBA schedule. He's going to not practice, just condition on the bike and hopefully participate in the games. And any minutes that we get from Arlon, he's one of the elite guards in our league. And any time that we can have him out there, it brings a lot of confidence to the rest of our team. So
Charleston Southern reaches the halfway mark of Big South Conference play at 4-4. Bucks have another big week upcoming. Radford at home Wednesday, at VMI Saturday. And we'll talk about that after this. You're watching the Barclay Radebaugh Show, sponsored by Crew Chevrolet. Welcome back to the Barclay Radebaugh Show, sponsored by Crew Chevrolet, where you always have a friend in the car business. Kevin O'Rourke alongside Barclay Radebaugh, 4-4 in league play, and you head on the road. Long trip up to Lexington, Virginia on Saturday, but first you bring in Radford on Wednesday night, and Mike Jones in his third year, a good Radford team.
Really good Radford team. I was talking to one of my mentors yesterday, Eddie Fogler, and he had seen Radford play in a tournament setting and just commented on how good they were and how well coached they are, and it didn't surprise me at all to hear that. Mike Jones is just one of the better young coaches in our league and has done a really good job of slowly and methodically but emphatically rebuilding that Radford program. And just some highlights of what they're about. It all starts with Javonte Green and R.J. Price. They're two of the best players in our league. Radford is extremely athletic. Will be a very different game than we played against Liberty. They're athletic, up and down the floor, run, play really hard versus Liberty's size and strength. And be a real challenge. It's going to be a good game. It's going to be a tough game, and certainly we need the Buck Dome packed to capacity with full of energy, much like it's been every other home game.
I saw some highlights of Javonte Green there. He's almost a double-double per game in Big South play at 6'4". What is the biggest challenge that he presents as far as trying to contain him?
He's just really a matchup problem for us. The active, mobile four men have been tough on us, and he can score from the perimeter. He can put it on the deck. He rebounds the ball. He plays above the rim. He's an elite player in our league, and we have the utmost respect for him. And we're trying to get a game plan together for him, and it's very difficult. It's very difficult because of his multifaceted offensive approach.
Then you go at VMI on Saturday. Duggar Bachum's team can score, as always, got a really good freshman in QJ Peterson.
Yeah, our last trip to VMI as they go into the Southern Conference, and certainly will be one of our toughest trips. They are leading the nation in scoring and are playing at a torrid pace right now and shooting the ball at an unbelievable rate, averaging over 105 points the last couple games. And, just going to be a big challenge for us, getting there, getting up there, getting rested, and preparing for a very up and down tempoed game against a talented VMI team who is very well coached. Duggar's a great friend of mine, and he is one of the best coaches in mid-major.
A couple of games this week that'll probably feature some end-to-end, back-and-forth action.
Well, I tell you what, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be athletic and fun, and certainly can showcase some of the best talent in the Big South.
Begins Wednesday here at the Buck Dome. Like Coach said, make sure to be here. 7:30 tip against Radford CSU, then Saturday at VMI. For Barclay Radebaugh, my name is Kevin O'Rourke. Thanks for watching the Barclay Radebaugh Show, sponsored by Crew Chevrolet.